DEPHEMEREMBER, where hearts unite. With every piece we shine so bright. Across the world our spirits soar, creating together forevermore. From simple scraps to colors bold, we wrap our stories into gold. Each prompt a spark, a joyful ember, bringing warmth and DEPHEMEREMBER.
Hi there, this is Luise Heinzl. Welcome to the second prompt of DEPHEMEREMBER 2024, which is layered tag and retro film strip. But wait, I mean, I love retro, but what the heck is going on here? I think something is wrong with my screen. That's perhaps a little bit too much retro, isn't it? Let me quickly fix that. That must have to do with my screen here. Ah, that's way better, isn't it? Are you ready? Are you ready for this prompt? I hope so. If you are new here, DEPHEMEREMBER is your ephemera inspiration in December. DEPHEMEREMBER is a coined term built from the words December and ephemera. And it's a collaboration with my dear friend Barbara at 49 Dragonflies. You can see her here in the circle. This is me, Luise Heinzl. We are the hosts of DEPHEMEREMBER, and I'm really hoping that you all are as excited as we are and that you want to do this series together with us and create some amazing ephemera for our junk journals with the help of this prompt list. You can get this prompt list and all of the other information, downloads, and so on our websites. We have made a little page where you can find all of the information. Everything is linked down below in the description box. Today's prompt is a very special prompt for me because it's not only a prompt, I also have a little message for you and something really, really excited to share. Barbara has made this journal for me, and here on the spine it says, "Shine your light." This is my caption for today's project. This is the perfect thing to have on this journal Barbara has made for me, because DEPHEMEREMBER is something where everyone can shine their light, where we can grow as artists, where we can explore new techniques and also things that are within ourselves, and we can bring them out in our eyes, Barbara's eyes and my eyes. DEPHEMEREMBER is the time where that happens the most and the most extreme. And that is what I want to bring to you as well. If you never heard about DEPHEMEREMBER or if you have never joined DEPHEMEREMBER, this is your chance. Join, okay? Do this. And I don't say that because I am one of the hosts of DEPHEMEREMBER. I say that because I'm really convinced that this DEPHEMEREMBER thing is something very special and that it can do something to your creations, to yourself, to your soul, and to your heart. So when I think about a retro film strip, the first thing that comes to my mind is something like this. This is what we have used to make photos in the past. It's pretty retro, isn't it? As you can see, I have a lot of other things on my desk here. That is because I thought about something where everyone can join. Even if you don't have something like this, please don't run away. I will show you different options. And even if you don't have something like this here, you can, I'm sure, you can find something where you can imitate a retro film strip really easily. So one thing is you could use some kind of plastic. You could also think about something like this. This is also an original strip, which comes from such a roll. I mean, here is a film on it. I know that you, or the most of you, possibly don't have something like this, but why am I showing you this? Search on flea markets for something like this, or somehow, you know, on online platforms like, I don't know what you have in your area, but online flea markets, you know, that you can get something like this as well. Then I found this in my stash. This is from Tim Holtz's Ideology. If you don't have something like this and you also want to use plastic, just go to your drawer and take some regular tape. This is just some packaging tape that would work as well, or plastic or acetate from a packaging. Yeah, it doesn't have to be sticky. I will show you later what I will do with this. And what you also could do is, you could of course use paper to make a film strip. The easiest way would be to just take a strip of paper and then punch some holes in here or cut with a craft knife or so. If it bothers you that this has not these holes here on the frame, just take a punch holes, or perhaps you have one of these machines which can make a spiral binding. Then you could take that machine and punch, and then you would have the holes here in exactly the same distance, like, you know, in an, how do you say that in English? In an equal distance, yeah, and not like crisscross. Speaking about spiral binding, you could even take such a thing from a sticker book or so. This is from the Ideology postage stamp sticker book. Ignore the postage stamps, we don't need them. But this could be helpful to imitate such a thing. You could even take this simple thing, cut this off, glue that on here, and then you would have something like a film strip as well. Then you could, of course, if you want to use paper, use some die cuts. This is a die cut by Zizix and Tim Holtz, and I would consider this one as really retro. This is called film strip frames. Then I have these. I found them. I was so lucky because I had them and I didn't have to spend time to cut these out. I feel so clever. I still had these from a Zizix make left over, which I made for Tim and Zizix. And for that make, I only needed these inner parts, and I had all of these left. They are a little bit colorful. I don't know if this will work for what I want to do today, but we can always take what we have and then throw some paint or spray or whatever on it and then make it into the right color. These come from this set, that is just this little strip here. And besides the film strips, we of course also need a tag, because the prompt list says layered tag and film strip. So I thought, I take a sip of my coffee. That is a rhetorical break. Because I thought, what is this? This is the negative of the photo, isn't it? It's like inverted, and with the technique of bringing this into a photo, I don't know how I can say that in English, but you know, it will get inverted. So this is somehow a negative. In German, it's even called negativ. And that brought me to the idea to make a negative tag. What the heck is a negative tag? Let me show you. We take a piece of sturdy paper. This is, I guess, 200 GSM or so. This is DIN A4. Oopsala. This is an ugly color. I want this color. I fold this in half. I want to have approximately, like, eyeballed the width of this. I think here would be good, so that it is not too wide, but as wide as possible. I want this really massive and really big. So with this eyeballed measurement in my head, I place this here to my thing, my paper trimmer. If you want to know that very exactly, I think I will cut it at 4.5 inch. Then we have something like this. Let's cut it here as well, so that it is not the total height of the page. So I will cut 3/4 of an inch off here. Now, a paper trimmer like this is really helpful, where you have this blade and you can cut in here. But what I do now, you can of course also do with a craft knife or with your scissors. But before I do that, let's take this fancy tool. I bought this on Amazon. But if you don't have such a tool, please just take your scissors. So now I take this and I think I want to have this much of a frame. That is about a centimeter. So I take this and now I look here and I cut in here to cut a window out from here. Hoping that I can manage that with this tool. To be honest, I have never done something like this before. That is not completely true because I have done it in my German video a second ago, but this is very new to me. But I mean, you can see here how far the blade cuts with this little thing here. I want to practice this because I think this is really handy. Okay, not perfect, but acceptable. And we are left with a negative tag. Can you see? So then, let's take this. Let's take these. Why is this not fitting on here? That was not planned, but what happens if I open this? So that I can spray the front and the back at the same time. What if I then... How could that look good? I'm thinking about using this as a stencil while I'm spraying. And now I will take first some water and then some walnut stain and scorched timber oxide spray. And then I will take this as it is and I will leave it to dry. Let's talk about these. If I want to have these no matter where in my journal and I want to glue them down or glue something to them, I need to prepare them somehow so that I can use glue on this because this is really slippery. When I thought about how I could prepare these, the first thing that came to my mind was sandpaper to roughen the surface a little bit. And then a happy mail arrived and I got this. And the person who has sent this to me, hello, she has written a little note and she said that she had this in her stash and that she thought about me and that I am a person who can do something with this. I will not include the thing itself into my project, but I want to use this to make the sanding on this here a little more interesting. And the goal is here not to get a perfect impression of the pattern of this metal. The goal is to get something interesting to this strip and to remove this brown coating so that this gets a little more translucent. Because if you shine your light, there is probably light involved. Does that make sense? And now, when you put a light behind this strip, you can see this pattern compared to what it was before. It looks also more interesting. And the most important thing for me, besides the thing with the gluing, is if you have no light, this looks way more interesting than this. This is just dark, you can't see anything, and this is now a little interesting. Perhaps you are a person who can't handle dust while sanding with a sandpaper. Don't freak your freak, don't run away please. Just take a piece of tape or a piece of, let's say, acetate from a packaging or so. Take this, fold it in half, line it up, and you have a cool piece of acetate, a strip somehow as well. This is transparent If you now think, oh, that is not so nice, take some alcohol ink, for example. This is the color Latte. I think I want to add a little bit of green. I have lettuce here. If you can't handle alcohol ink for some health reasons or so, just take a thin piece of paper, like for example tissue paper or a layer of a napkin or so, and glue that in between of the tape layers. So this can dry here on the side. And if you say, okay, I don't have something like this, I don't have tape, I don't have a die cut, I don't have anything, then there are two possibilities. First, sitting in a corner and crying, or go to my web... Sorry, I hope that was a little bit funny. Or go to my website and download today's freebie. I made a freebie for you. Looks like this. I have already printed it out on overhead transparency for obvious reasons, hopefully. If you don't have overhead transparency, of course you can use paper as well, because when you print it on paper which is not too thick, this is 100 GSM photo paper, it's still translucent when you put light behind it. Yeah, just test if your light, or this doesn't have to be something like this. This can also be, I have just taken this for the video. You can even take such a small thing, yeah, that would also work. But for the video, it's a little bit like, can you see? But it works as well. Even sunlight works. Test if your paper is translucent enough so that you can see through it. On this printable, there are two things. These strips and some photos. We need these people later. And I have also added some information here for you where I thought that could be helpful. I've called this mix and match ideas. I made this because in the past, many of you have asked for something like this. So I tried to give you here some help. Here are names of some items from my shop. All of these are ephemera packs, and they are called, so that are different ephemera packs. Vintage photo strips, grandchildren, ID card oddities. These are all with people different than these. In the ID card oddities, there are also some additional things. I mean, it's called ID card oddities. You have already seen videos on my channel about this printable, so perhaps you have seen those. But in this printable, there are photos which you might want to use additionally or instead of these. The grandchildren and the vintage photo strips have like only photos compared to the ID card oddities, which also has other elements. If you don't like adding people to your project, you could check these out and consider using these vintage specimen strips and butterfly collage if you want to have some animals on your project. Yeah, perhaps that could be a nice thing. And you will get 15% off with this code here on all of these, and on another one, which I will show you in the end of the video, where we take something from that printable. So, you know, I need to make it a little bit exciting as well. So you can use this code. At the end of your order, just put that into this little box where it says shop coupon, and then the 15% will automatically go off. And this code is valid until the end of January 2025. If you look close to these photo strips, you will probably recognize that this is some handwriting. And this is handwriting by Barbara at 49 Dragonflies and myself. This is like alternated with both of our handwritings. But this is not only cute because it's from Barbara and myself and it's something for you, but this is a special text. And I'm so proud that I'm allowed to say what I say now, because this is the text of our DEPHEMEREMBER song. You have heard this song already in the beginning of yesterday's video, in the beginning of today's video. And while I'm cutting these strips out, I will give you a little portion of the song again.
Ephemerember, where hearts unite. With every piece we shine so bright. Across the world our spirits soar, creating together forevermore. From simple scraps to colors bold, we wrap our stories into gold. Each prompt a spark, a joyful ember, bringing warmth and DEPHEMEREMBER.
Barbara and I wanted to have something that represents what DEPHEMEREMBER is, and we thought a song would be perfect to express what we think about DEPHEMEREMBER, what we experienced during DEPHEMEREMBER, what we feel in our hearts about DEPHEMEREMBER. And we thought a song could be something that can express our feelings or our emotions about that the best. DEPHEMEREMBER is a time where we all come together, no matter where we are in this world. And DEPHEMEREMBER is a time where so much love goes around the world, somehow automatically. I really have to concentrate that I don't cry. What are we going to do now? I will tell you that you can get the song as a download. The link is down below in the description box. With the download, you also get this text, which is here in a smaller scale on the strips, in a full size, like a full sheet. So that you can print that out, and you can of course also use that to put it in your DEPHEMEREMBER journal or hang it to your wall or whatever. I will fold these in half, and I will then in a second glue them together, because this is a little bit white, like milky on the back. That drives me a little bit crazy in this case, because I want my tag to be nice from the front and the back. So no matter what I do now, I will make sure that all of my pieces look nice from the back and from the front. I want to glue these, so I will go over this material a little bit with my sandpaper. What I also found out is that we can stamp to the inside and then make this even more interesting. I have this background stamp here, Tiny Prints CMS 460 by Stampers Anonymous and Tim Holtz. I want to use this one here, or portions of that. I take some Black Suit archival ink. Shall we do that here as well? I think so. Then we can take some glue. I just take some bookbinders glue here. You could also take, for example, gel medium or collage medium or whatever you have at hand, which can glue plastic to plastic. Then I carefully close it, let it dry like this. So let's take a look at these. They turned out really, really nice. Let's appreciate this wonderful oxidation for a second. And let's see. Oh, yes, yes. Ah, it left, of course. I mean, of course it did. These things worked as a stencil, obviously, but not only on the frame of the tag, but also here where they were overlapping. Haha. Oh my goodness. So now let's take these and these. This is probably way too much, but let's see. I will take some bookbinders glue again, spread this here, take this, dab that in there, and since I don't believe in coincidences, it must be the cleverness of Tim that this and this is exactly the same width. Thank you, Tim. If that's not the case for your items, don't freak your freak. Just cut the rest off so that it is the same width. So I will glue these on here. And I said I want to have my single strips look nice from the front and the back. That's why I take another one of these, and then you can either hold it against your window or a light source, or for the video here I take this to show you what I mean, or demonstrate how to do it, because I of course want to line up these now. And since we have a little bit left there, let's take this piece and let's just add this here. And then I take another one of these and glue that on there as well. So then we can just cut this off. Or you could of course even leave it there. Ooh, let's leave it there, why not? Let's just cut it off here. Let's just leave that there, why not? I mean, this is junk journaling. By coincidence. There are no coincidences. This strip and this fits really well together, size-wise. And perhaps you want to share what you have created during DEPHEMEREMBER on your socials, then please use the hashtag DEPHEMEREMBER. So now I take one of the bluish greenish ones for one side and the yellow one for the other side. I put that here, line it up, and in this case I don't take glue because I want to show you options. You could take glue, of course, but you can also staple this. I think it could be a good idea to quickly take a little bit of a really dark ink, for example scorched timber, and quickly go around this thing. And now let's layer all of these things in this frame. So we open this, I put glue on here, take this, and now you can play around with the arrangement like you want, of course. I want to have these strips a little not so straight, but of course you could also glue them very straight to this thing. That is totally up to you. And then let's cut off a portion here, just enough to glue it in between here. We don't want to waste our strips.
From simple scraps to colors bold, we wrap our stories into gold. Each prompt a spark, a joyful ember, bringing warmth and DEPHEMEREMBER. DEPHEMEREMBER, where hearts unite. With every piece we shine so bright. Across the world our spirits soar, creating together forevermore. We share our dreams, our smiles and tears.
This will go down in a second. Let's take more glue and let's glue this just by folding it to the other side, like so, and press it down. And with this method, how we made the frame, it's really easy to line this up. So here we go. This is sewn now. I have two different colors of thread in my sewing machine. That gives me the advantage that I can sew from both sides and then get a variation of the color of the thread here. You could now leave this exactly like it is with these gaps in between. And if you then place that in your journal somewhere, you can see the page through these gaps. I find that really interesting. But since the prompt list says that this shall become a layered tag, I want to add even more layers. I mean, we have layers here already, but, oh, cut this straight. I want to add more. Then we still have these where the tape is on. Cut this here. And then I will put the glue only here to the edge. I think that is enough since this goes into my journal later. I mean, what shall happen? This will stay loose then. I have this little portion from here left. 1, 2, 3. Could be a nice thing. What do you think? And I have also still these here from the sticker book, and I need to use a scrap from Barbara today. I have already recorded my German video, as you can tell. This was one of her scraps, and since this is so frayed here, I thought I take this and these little things from the sticker book and make tiny pieces which I can then also layer on here. So I will go to my sewing machine now. This goes back into my scrap box later, because, you know, who knows if we will need that. And I will sew tiny little things from these, like little snippets, which we can then also add on here. I think it looks really nice when here's a little bit of fabric or lace. Okay, so here I'm back with my little snippets. Oh. Of course, you could also just glue these together if you don't have a sewing machine. And now we need some people here, because you know, if we shall shine our light during DEPHEMEREMBER, we need the community here on this tag somehow. And for that, I want to use the photos of the freebie here. If you don't like the photos of the freebie, you can check these printables out in my shop. As I said, the links are in the description box. And remember the code, you can get 15% off on all of these ephemera packs here with the code. I want to cut some portions from the photos here now, which are exactly the same size like these little things from here. So this is what has fallen out when I cut the die cut. So this is my template now. Decide for the portion which you want to have on this little thing and then just cut around the template, or take a pencil and cut that out, take a pencil and draw a line, and then, oh no, I can't talk and do this. I've just cut into my template. Oh my goodness. Holy moly. So please take something that has the same size like these holes, and then please just cut without cutting into the template so that this gets the same size as the holes. If you don't have a printer or you don't want to use these photos, you can of course also take other photos from your stash, but please make sure that they are translucent enough. Please test that before you glue the photos down. If the light comes through when you do it like this, so now I have to make sure, if I want to glue this photo here, I can't glue one here, otherwise that would look absolutely terrible. So make sure when you have this on the other on this side that you don't have a photo in the same spot on the other side, otherwise that will look really confusing for the eye. And you can see that the photo now gets a totally different vibe because the colors from behind come through. And look how wonderful this looks without light, with light. And this is exactly what happens during DEPHEMEREMBER to many of us. We walk through our like normal lives, and then DEPHEMEREMBER is happening, and then suddenly we can shine our lights. Do you like this idea? I'm so hoping that you like this, yeah, this picture behind this. Normal boy, DEPHEMEREMBER, ta-da! With DEPHEMEREMBER and with junk journaling, I often have the feeling that we also get wings somehow. I have some moths here. These come from my Moth and Paper Flutter ephemera pack, which you can also find in my shop. I will link this item down below for you, and with the code I have given you a while ago in this video, I will put it here again. I'm not so mean. You can get 15% off on these moths as well. And then I will take this to my sewing machine and I will add a little bit of something in between of the layers. I've just taken the threads which were laying next to my sewing machine from the sewing I made before. I've just put them there so that it peeks out here on the bottom. Let's then also add an eyelet here. I take a little bit of sari silk, staple in here. I use some tarnished brass distress paint. This is already mixed with some water. Do you know what? I will additionally add white splatters. So then when it's dry, I have a nice combination. Then this is my finished project for today. Layered tag and retro film strip done. I hope to see you tomorrow again. And please don't forget to check out Barbara's video from today, where she shows you another idea on today's tag, today's prompt, layered tag and retro film strip. Have a very great and creative day. And if you want to share your projects on social media, then please use the hashtag DEPHEMEREMBER. See you tomorrow. Bye bye. Why don't you say anything? I mean, what is this? This can't be finished. This really can't be finished for two different reasons. Oh my goodness. I mean, this is still loose. I haven't told you that I would use a paper clip. I'm so sorry. I was so happy that I have managed to do this that I totally forget to tell you that. I will use a paper clip here. I have to be careful because my splatters are not dry, so that I can then easily take the tag out to put my light source behind. But that is obvious. You could also put it into a pocket. But please, we need a quote here somehow. This looks like absolutely weird. Do you know what I want to use? Here I have the word because left over, because I have cut something else off. But the single word because, woo, no, seems to be somehow really fitting here. Why are we doing junk journaling? Because. Why are we together in this community? Because. It doesn't need a concrete explanation why we do what we do. Does that make sense? Hopefully that does make sense also in English and not only in German. Now it's finished. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.